Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about evaluating piecewise functions. Now, before we dive into piecewise functions, we have to first review how to evaluate just a regular function. And then we can finish it off with some examples on today's subject. So let's begin by starting with this one. It says evaluate f of x equals 6x minus 5. And we have to evaluate it at the point or at the value x equals 2. So here, everywhere I see an x, I'm going to replace it by a 2. That's what it means to evaluate a function. So now I have f evaluated at 2 is equal to 6 times 2, subtract 5. And now I can simplify the right hand side. 6 times 2 is going to give us 12. And then if we subtract 5, we're going to get a total of 7. So we get that f of 2 is equal to 7. We can try different functions such as this one. So here we have to evaluate at x equals 3. So everywhere we see an x, we're going to replace it by a 3 now. So let's do this. We get that f of 3 is the same thing as 3 to the second power minus 2 times 3 plus 3. And if we evaluate the right hand side, 3 to the second power is the same thing as 3 times 3 minus 2 times 3 is 6 plus 3. And then we get that 3 times 3 is 9. And then we subtract 6 plus 3. 9 minus 6 is the same thing as 3 plus 3. And then we get 6. So f of 3 is the same thing as 6. Alright, so for functions, one great way to evaluate them is just by doing the computations left to right. Obviously, if you're very good with your algebra, you could have done this part first and then added to this. Either way, you would get 6. So here, let's try a different problem. Let's try this one. Here we have to evaluate at x equals 4. So everywhere we see an x, we're going to replace it by a 4. So we get that f of 4 is the same thing as 2 to the 4th power. Now this is an exponent, so we're going to multiply 2 by itself 4 times. So we get 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. And here I can do these ones. First, I'm going to get 4. And then I can do these ones. I'm going to get another 4. We get a total of 16. So f of 4 is equal to 16. So that's more or less how you evaluate a function. So I gave you 3 examples. This one's an exponential. This one's a quadratic. This one's linear. You don't really need to know the names of them at this point. So practice evaluating them, and then we can talk about a piecewise function.